Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no reason why I wanted to start the podcast with that. I just did. It just popped into my head as soon as I was like, what can I say?
It felt right.
Except, yeah.
We're back, baby.
Episode 51. We took a week off. Who cares? We're back.
I literally sounded like Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it could have worked. You are someone's dad.
Fair.
Now all you have to do is cut his arm off and
Yeah, fucking fit.
And then get thrown onto the always inconveniently constructed. I'll just lump them all in. I feel like any enemy ship in Star Wars has here's this bridge with just like a free fall under it, and we're gonna fight on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what era this movie it is. This is what we do.
Or a pit of lava.
That too.
Give credit where credit is due. The best lightsaber duel of all time.
Got to make sure you get the high ground.
Yes.
Need that high ground. Say what you will about the prequels, that is still the best lightsaber duel of all of the movies.
I'm a real sucker for Duel of the Fates.
Duel of Fates is probably my second favorite, but fair.
It's easily between those two. You are correct.
Very fair.
But the poor construct, like, is that strategic? Like, we can just throw motherfuckers off this thing. Like,
yes.
Did they?
I mean, they have the Force, right? Like, why not?
Like, did they? Right, but like,
have you ever played Force Unleashed? It's satisfying.
That's my favorite thing to do in
Jedi
Order, by the way.
Order too.
Fallen Order. I wait until I see stormtroopers by ledges, and I just sneak up on them, and I just yeet right off the ledge.
Also, very excited for Survivor.
The TV show?
No, the sequel to Fallen Order. Thanks. Okay, you dick.
We've been doing this for 30 seasons, and we're still at it, bro. Bring those motherfuckers to North Sentinel Island next time. See how that goes.
Drop them off at Staten Island.
I have never watched a full episode of Survivor.
I probably did like season 1, but
season 1.
That was
I watched
so
all
long
of
ago.
season 1 when I was a kid.
Right. Yeah,
that was like a phenomenon. And then like season 2 came out, and I was just like, cool. And I watched like one episode, and I was like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, they all get old. That's why, bro. I'm telling you, North Sentinel Island. It'll be one episode for 10 minutes. They're all dead. They were immediately killed when they touched land. Sorry about that.
What's the island with all the snakes? There's like an island that's just like filled with poisonous snakes. We'll just drop them off there and see how they do.
That's probably a more realistic one to survive, honestly, because the people on North Sentinel Island, you won't last 5 minutes.
No,
people have tried.
When I say full of poisonous snakes, I'm not.
There's not an inch to roam.
There's like not even. You can't even see the land because it's just crawling with snakes.
Now, when you say there's snakes, what kind
are they? Motherfucking snakes?
Are they
motherfucking snakes
on this motherfucking island? Are they
motherfucking island?
Are they Jake the Snakes?
Where's the wrestling?
Is the wrestling? I guess it's a good way to segue into intros.
Yeah. Anybody can do that too. It's like, no, like he does it the best, but like
what?
Right.
Same thing.
Is that going to replace what one day?
I think it's over enough.
Isn't that like that? That's truly something. How like I don't even remember how what started. Like
there's some promo he was break with somebody and went what?
Right. And like the fact that it's stuck for 22, I think it was like 2001 because it was like the Alliance, right? Had to be.
Yeah.
It was around that time, man.
Yeah.
Man. Unbelievable how it started. Anyway, as always, I'm Mike, and joining me right this way. I don't know where he is on your YouTube screen if that's where you're watching us, but it's CJ.
What's up, everybody? CJ, aka Craig Francis, from back in the day. I actually wearing part of the Craig Francis gear today.
Oh,
The interesting Rangers themed hoodie
I saw
that I
it.
used to wear to the ring. Just to piss off all the Flyers fans that used to come to our shows.
Smart.
But anyway, glad to be here with you boys. You know, it is officially the road to WrestleMania now. So, of course, a lot of wrestling to talk about across all the boards. But before we get to that,
I'm sorry I'm
Yeah.
laughing because I had to look up the island you were talking about. Of course it's literally called of course it's just called Snake Island.
yeah, of course it is.
Like it's not
What's that island called? How do you dial 911? What's the number of the 911?
Like
That's
called,
one of those moments right there.
Of course it's called Snake Island. It's in Brazil. I wouldn't have guessed Brazil, but anyway,
Yeah,
that's
well,
where it
fuck
is.
that island. But anyway,
93 miles off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil. But anyway, back to the wrestling.
you know, I was trying to come up with like some snake theme gimmick to give Skylar to announce him, but I'm kind of drawing a blank because you already threw the Jake the Snake stuff out here. So I don't just keep rolling off that. And I can't think of anything else.
Skylar the
Now
Snake.
Now hold up, player.
Uh-oh.
Now you all doing this all wrong right here, okay, players? If we're
Oh,
going to
boy.
do this
We got
right,
Teddy Long in the house?
we
be
are
in
going to
there.
have a
I don't want-
Six-man tag match. I
don't wanna do a
tag
match.
podcast
I don't want to
There
face
it
the
is.
Undertaker.
with The Undertaker
There it is. And Edge.
and Edge. Holla.
Oh, Skylar Long. Skylar Long dick.
Got him.
So
What are we talking about today?
So there's a very important wrestling topic that we really need to address. And they don't know that I want to address this, but this is a really important topic in wrestling
Putting us
right
on
now.
the spot. Let's go.
I'm putting you on the spot right now. Mike,
Working on
you
the
just
fly.
picked up a whole bunch of old school wrestling games.
I did.
Let's hear about them.
Okay.
We should talk about some video games.
All right. I mean, I'm not even sure why I started. It's probably because I was watching a bunch of shout out New Legacy Inc. on YouTube and Twitch, because those guys, they literally just play a bunch of old wrestling games. So I was watching a bunch of like clips on YouTube, and it got me like, fuck, I want to play these games again. So I'd say in the last like week, what have I gotten? Well, not to mention like I've had Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain and a bunch of the old like SmackDown versus Raws and stuff. But I bought I have Raw 2 on the Xbox. I'm also very upset. The game's not good, but I can't play the WrestleMania 21 game because it won't work on 360 and I don't have an original Xbox. That's like the one that I can't like get. But I heard exactly, but I heard it's a shit game anyway, but it's still like
I never actually played that one. That was one of the ones that I think I just skipped.
It is funny when you go back and look how much like the brand extension, like PlayStation, like SmackDown was only on PlayStation and the Raw games were only on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And then GameCube had WrestleMania X8.
Yep. Which I did.
Legends of WrestleMania.
That was
GameCube,
that was on a bunch, but the ones I've picked up recently, I did get WrestleMania X8 and WrestleMania 19.
WrestleMania X8 is not good.
I mean, I was just
I'm not a fan of the GameCube games.
The later ones are good. Like I did get Day of Reckoning.
I was about to say I've heard good things about Day of Reckoning.
I remember
actually, that's the one thing I did hear good things.
I remember it being good. I'm looking for Day of Reckoning 2, but like it's not crazy expensive, but it's one of those where I'm like, let me see what else I can find because the eBay auctions weren't working for me, brother. I got WWE All Stars, that like arcadey game from like
I heard that was fun.
2011.
Yeah, I remember that.
I got, what else did I get? I actually have to check a bid because I was looking at a bundle that had WWE Crush Hour, the Twisted Metal, the Twisted Metal style game.
And now Samoa Joe is Sweet Tooth.
Go figure.
Full circle.
I would say full circle, but he wasn't.
Well, at least the body of Sweet Tooth,
right?
Apparently, it's like, why not? He could sound menacing. I mean, I get it. Will Arnell, it's fine, but
right. What else did I get? I don't know. And then I did pick up Legends of WrestleMania. The game's like interesting. It's definitely more of just like an extension of what was it? SmackDown vs. Raw 2009.
Is it Legends of WrestleMania or is it just Legends of Wrestling?
No, Legends of Wrestling is a different like non.
I had Legends of Wrestling.
Okay, so
And
it
like
is a
Legends of
different game.
Wrestling had to use guys that like weren't WWE like
Hulk
licensed
Hogan's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But I mean, like there was like a lot of guys. I remember like the what was it? I had this game, and I remember like was Hulk Hogan? I don't think Hulk Hogan was in it. I think
No,
Superstar
he
Dave
was.
Graham was.
He was.
Was he?
He was.
I thought
He
there was
wasn't
like
really.
names that I felt like were missing, but I guess maybe that's more of like a personal thing on my part. But I thought it was like I thought they had like some issue. Yeah, wasn't Hulk Hogan in WCW at the time, or did WCW?
No,
Oh
because
God, no.
this game.
What time did that
long
game
gone.
came out? I might be thinking of a different game.
This game came out on the PlayStation 2 December 3rd, 2001. So
Okay.
at that point, this was right before he came back with the NWO.
Gotcha.
So it was probably whenever they did the deals, it was probably I do wonder if he was still under contract with AOL Time Warner at the time. So
Yeah,
maybe, but it's also Hulk Hogan. He could probably do whatever the hell he wanted, honestly.
Yeah, that's Hulk Hogan.
Right.
I can make it whatever I want to work for me, brother.
Yeah. I think I had that.
I'll just say so on the cover of the
sometimes
game,
I just make stuff up.
So on the cover, you have Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Terry Funk, Jimmy Snuka, RVD, Jerry Lawler, Jimmy Hart, and the Road Warriors are all there. Those are all on the cover.
Nope, I do remember this game now because I remember RVD, and I remember actually I think that was the guy I used the most was like RVD when I was playing that game.
Sabu's in the game, all the Von Erichs. It looks like just going through the roster. Brian Pillman on there. I guess I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the again, I'm probably sure there's a whole thing with like the rights and shit on it.
Yeah.
Ricky, yeah, no, it's like your typical like, legends, especially at that time. But no, but the different game, Legends of WrestleMania, different game. Although I might have to look into this one now because I definitely don't have this one.
Legends of Wrestling?
Yeah.
I know I had it for PS2, I think, right? Is that when it was on?
That's what it came out on like GameCube way later, but it was on PlayStation 2 first. There's that. They did a Legends of Wrestling 2 also, but
yeah, I didn't have that one because I didn't like the first one that much. And then
Hulk Hogan apparently, and this is when I was like looking. I forget what the game's called. It might be like Hulk Hogan's like main event or something. Mm-hmm. It was a wrestling game on 360 that used the Kinect, and I'm sure it was god awful. Like everything.
Oh my god. I remember you had the Kinect.
Yeah, I did.
And we used to go to your house and actually play those Kinect games. And I remember like the best part about those is that like the two people would be standing in the background just like doing silly shit in the for the camera that you guys players wouldn't see. So we would just be like fucking with you guys while you were playing or whatever. And you don't see it until you see the highlights at the end.
Yep. No, it's hilarious. Like, right, good time for a few minutes, but yeah, Hulk Hogan's main event, use the Kinect. I want no part of that.
You don't want to body slam Andre the Giant?
I don't know.
In a Kinect world,
in a shitty, bad camera sensor, whatever. All the above. I always fall for that. I always fall for that gimmick shit.
Yeah,
whether
that's
it's
why
VR.
I never got into like the VR stuff.
Are you getting a PSVR too?
Yeah, probably like in a year, and then I'll fucking hate it in a week.
I'm thinking like give it a year or two.
At this point, just get like the Oculus. It's like $300 cheaper.
Yeah,
I had one of the Oculuses once, and I never fucking used it
because they're fun. They're fun for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
like I tried
playing. Sorry,
no, like I tried to play some when I had the PlayStation 1. I was trying to play. I bought some like stupid soccer game. I was like, all right, fine. It's like it's any kind of sports game that's on VR. And I don't know what the fuck I did, but like the screen just started spinning and I had to rip the headset off my head because I was gonna vomit.
You couldn't handle it?
No, the shit just started spinning and I literally like threw it off. I was like, well, this sucks.
That's funny.
But
I kind of want a headset that has Google World on it, or because from what I heard, you can kind of just set the location. And
you want to get a job in the metaverse, like people do.
No, I kind of just want to get really baked, go to like some locations.
People go into their virtual reality and fucking work.
I would just sit there and kind of just chill there.
Go visit like fucking just places around the world. Like go to like Italy and India and fucking China and all the other shit.
Just kind of live in it, man.
It would be cool.
Go to childhood places that
that would be cool too.
Yeah. Also, I played Super Hot in the thing, and that was kind of fun.
Which game?
Super Hot.
Super Hot.
Oh yeah, Beat Saber. Beat Saber is very fun.
Beat Saber looks like a workout.
Actually, I mean,
I bet you're a guy who likes to play Beat Saber. You look like the kind of guy who Beat Saber a lot.
It sounds like a Sean Connery joke.
I was trying to think. I leaned in thinking something would pop into my head, and it didn't. I had nothing to come back from that.
There are so many amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America. I can only think of one. Fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
Check.
By the way, we probably talked about this on the original video game episode with Sumo Mike in the archives.
Where could you find that episode?
In the archives.
In the archives.
Go
back and take a listen. It's one of our most popular and most fun episodes, I thought. Personally.
That was a lot of fun. The fact that I'm actually going back and collecting these games now, again, we're gonna have
Sumo back on and do another, video game episode. Or Andy loves those games too. We could have him back on and talk about it too. There's a lot of people I'm sure has some insight on the video game world.
Oh, everybody. Yep. But I mean, it's fun having these games in the house. I'm also curious because like I have like one of the old Wiis that can play the GameCube games, so that's how I've been playing them. So part of me's not sure if like
I could do that.
Only the old ones, though. If it was made after like fall of 2011, they didn't. But the one I have kicking around.
I just want to find a way to play Eternal Darkness.
I mean, well, and some of these GameCube games get fucking pricey, man.
Mm-hmm.
I guess any Nintendo, like shit like that, like any of the Mario games are always pricey.
Nintendo games like never depreciate them. Yeah. They never go on sale either.
No, I know. But you're better off finding like if you're a Nintendo Switch person, you're better off finding like gift card deals or something, and then buying a game digitally if you want to save money, because it is very rare that those go on sale. But I'm curious if anyone knows if the Wii disc drive is shittier than the GameCubes, because the games I got from eBay, Day of Reckoning was in pretty decent shape, and I kept getting like a read error on it like a couple times. So I don't know if it's like my Wii disc drive, because those discs can take a beating and they'll still play. So I am curious if it's like the Wii disc drive. That's something I don't know if I can like you get one of those like computer dusters and like spray it in there or something like that. Maybe I got to do that.
Yeah, maybe a laser issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I'll have to just pop a bunch of discs in there and see what the deal is. But so far, the games I have are fun as hell. And I don't know if you have the old consoles kicking around, like a PS2, especially. There's so many great options for old wrestling games. I think that's probably has the majority of them, because that's what I'm looking for: PS1, PS2, and kind of newer.
I've honestly been thinking about buying a PS2 and getting an HDMI converter, because there's a couple of like old school RPGs I also want to play too. They're
just PS2, and PS2 is not expensive at all at this point. No. Whichever version of the console. Like I have the slim one kicking around, and they all work.
I still have like a bunch of my PS2 games, and I don't even think I have a PS2 console in my
I feel like I should get a slim for practicality, but something just about that original tower.
But the original one's not that big, though. It's not like the PS5 that's huge.
Yeah, something PS5 is literally like a computer tower.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that's just so half of what I had kicking around. So I'm like, sure, it'll play. Like I have a whole bin in my basement with like games, because I always would buy. I would clear out GameStop when they're trying to clear them out. I remember getting like buy two get two free and shit like that. So that's how I have so many PlayStation 2 games, and I'm fucking happy I have them now. Like all the old Silent Scopes. I have a bunch of like Sly Cooper. I have a bunch of old Crash games.
Here's the question: where do you find memory cards for those fucking things anymore?
Yeah, you can find them.
Yeah,
they're hard to find when they were available.
I have it's funny. I have like 4. Like it's funny because I need them. Some of those games used to eat up your entire memory card.
I used to have 2 of the 8 gigabyte memory cards back in the day. There's like a blue one.
No, not gigs. Oh, you said gigs.
Oh, megabytes. Oh, yeah, 8 megabytes. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah, 8 megabytes.
It's insane.
And I remember like those were huge. Those actually saved a lot of games, and I still filled up like all of the blue one and half of the red one. You know what I mean? Like,
because there'd be certain games like a Madden, like certain like Madden, like maybe like 03 or 4 or whatever. It would take up like like a franchise would take up like half your memory card. It's like, can't we fucking shrink these files? Like, and then some games it would be like the whole save file is like 500 kilobytes. I'm like, can we go to this?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But for wrestling games, like I said, I haven't gotten too deep into it. I did make like a fucked up character in Here Comes the Pain that I just thought was hilarious. I was probably just a little high when I was playing, but like I made the dude's like chest as narrow as can be, and then like I gave him like the Quagmire arm.
Oh
like,
God.
Like
the one jacked arm.
Yeah.
Quagmire
arm. Take a picture of it and make it the like thumbnail for this episode.
I'll have to. Like I was just making it. I was like, how ridiculous can I make this dude? I don't have a name for him yet, so if I do post it, I'll have to take suggestions. But I think I wrestled like Eric Bischoff in a match, and I was just for the sake of like, because also the cool thing about Here Comes the Pain is that when you created a character, you couldn't just automatically make them great. Like you were limited in the attributes you could give. So your overall guy was probably starting out in the 40s, and you had no choice but to build them up. So I think that was a fun component of that game that I think is lost now, because I'm pretty sure when you create somebody, you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I'm trying to think of like from those games who is still an active wrestler.
I mean, from what I'm playing, a lot. Chris Jericho.
Well, Jericho was the obvious answer.
Christian, Edge.
The Hardys.
The Hardys.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess I'll say like Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, whatever. There's probably a decent chunk. Just look up a roster from Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he's a cover guy.
From Here Comes the Pain. Yeah, there's a decent chunk. Kane. Oh, maybe not anymore.
How many from like No Mercy? That's the real question.
Okay. Maybe that's where
the Hardys are they in that?
The Hardys and Jericho, I think. Maybe
Hardys,
that might be
Jericho, Edge, Christian.
Yeah.
The other one,
Gangrel. Technically, he's still on the Indies.
Yeah, but he's
Lita again. Apparently,
a lot of those guys might still be on the Indies somewhere.
Oh,
at least doing signings and shit.
Oh, that's true.
Man, I was gonna
say
Lita apparently.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, I guess it's like it might be happening now. Her and Becky Lynch are going for the tag titles.
I heard Trish too. Like Trish might be getting involved too.
Do it. Well, she's in like great shape. She does like all that yoga and stuff.
Well, yeah, she's like yoga master.
Yeah.
Trish and Lita after Edge comes back. Like, what is going on? What year is it? Like, I feel
I'm
like
almost
I need a Robin Williams picture right now. Just
yeah, right. What?
What year is it?
Oh, God damn.
Like, if I was at one of those live shows and like Lita and Trish came back, like I would just hold it up. Like, I would bring that picture with me and just hold it up every time. Like Edge came out, Lita comes out. Anytime someone from 20 years ago comes out.
So it looks like
they're all coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm not like, and this is not like bitching. Like, I'm happy. I'm glad to see them. It's crazy that here we are all these years later and we're getting to see all these comebacks from our childhood,
Oh, I know.
Basically.
No, it's insane. They're all
by the
back.
way, from the looks of things, it looks like the women's tag title match will main event tonight, because that hasn't happened yet, and it's already 24.
That makes sense.
That's a good main event.
If Trish and Lita could main event a Raw in like 2005, then those four could certainly do it now.
I remember that being a huge deal too.
Yeah, and it was good.
I still remember one of the best matches I ever saw live, and I feel like Mike can agree. Is the four, the NXT Brooklyn when we were there.
Yep.
All four horsewomen were kind of involved.
Yeah,
and that was like, I remember. What was it? That was the one that had Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens in the ladder match afterwards, right?
And no one
like no, we didn't even care. We were just not to say we didn't.
We didn't care, but it was hard to get hyped again.
That women's match was like the match, like one of the best matches I saw all year. I feel like. Yeah.
At that time, yeah, it was 2015 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure it was, for sure.
And like, didn't they have their own little curtain call moment? Because like,
I think so. Yeah.
Like, wasn't that when like Charlotte and Sasha were getting called up, or Charlotte and Becky, or
it might have been Charlotte and Becky or
everyone
something. I can't remember.
Everyone except Bailey.
Everyone except
yeah.
Bailey. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they had a curtain call moment with that, but that was.
Well, it's funny because then we went to Mania and they had that triple threat, and it was Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like and like that NXT was like whatever 6 months, 7 months earlier or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they got to the main roster, they tried doing those 3 different trios of women, and that was the first instance of them not knowing their porn sites.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What was their name?
The Submission Sorority.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people started Googling that and getting taken to Pornhub.
Listen,
or its own website, whichever.
Listen, man, like dicks.com forever was just like a thing. So it's
I almost brought that up to you the other day, by the way. Like I almost sent, like I think I had like a meme or a tweet or something like that like reminded me of that. Because like I think somebody wrote like, if you're looking for this, definitely don't type in yada yada yada. And I was just like, oh, this is a real dicks.com moment for Mike right here. You guys are wondering what Dick's Sporting Goods website is. Definitely don't go to dicks.com.
This is true. What you should do is go to penisland.com.
Penisland.com. That's where you can get all your pen needs. Any pen you need, any kind of pen. You need a quill pen, you need a big pen, you need a clicker pen, anything you need, penisland.com.
Not those kind of clickers.
Yeah, not Last of Us clickers. Those are bad.
But yeah, that's penisland.com.
Yep. I got I got the kids in my academy. I told them all about Pen Island. I was like, hey, if you ever lose your academy pen, you go to Pen Island. They will overnight ship you any pen you want. And you can get it customized and overnight shipped. Penisland.com.
I can't tell.
A few of them came back. I'm 100% not making this up. A few of them in the academy came up to me later on in the week or the next weekend or like whatever. If it was over the weekend, I'd see them like the next week or whatever. And they'd just be like, penisland.com, huh? And yeah, and that was it. And they gave me their nod of approval and thank yous is the way I take it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell if this is a trap or you're making up a sponsor right now.
No, it's legit.
Write it down on a piece of paper, Skylar.
Or just remind myself when I listen to this later.
Yeah.
I'm not risking this right now.
No, believe it at that. Let us know in like an hour when it clicks. Anyway.
Okay.
I don't know how to get back to wrestling here.
How do you
yeah.
Hey, George Carlin didn't pivot. We don't have to either.
That's true. So it's been so this is going to come out Friday. I'm terrible with dates, especially because we're going into a new
Whose
month.
heart got broken in Montreal the other week?
Mine.
Not really. I knew he wasn't going to win, but it's still.
Yeah, we all knew he wasn't going to win, but
it still makes me.
But they did. Listen. I'm watching it by myself, and like those.
This guy
you assholes, you do.
Oh man, I'm that story about my academy mates was true, by the way.
That I believe.
Yep.
Anyway, as we were talking about with Montreal,
Skylar you were ready to be like, oh, I
could use some new pens.
What could a box of like 100 cost?
Pen Island, 100? That's a lot.
I wouldn't stop there.
Pen Island, listen, Pen Island's got it like wholesale. They gotta have them for cheap.
Cash bar, you gotta get drunk.
Oh God.
Anyway,
we're
going
pivoting back into.
He's gonna bring his medium wings, which are of course the most mild of all the wings. With him
why
to
would I get mild when I can get medium?
The only way to pivot into this is if we all just question the size of Batista's dick.
How big
is Batista's dick?
How big was Batista's dick? Oh my God. But yes, Montreal. It's probably better that we waited to discuss this. Well, again, I'm sitting there by myself, and when Sami got like the 2 and 9/10 count,
yeah,
like that one, I was like, did he? Oh, okay. And then, obviously like your classic like ref spots. Although listen, not to nitpick, but there's something when there should be like a disqualification as the new ref is like in like eye shot
I
of like
agree.
what's happening. Sometimes
that's a little weird. It's like you clearly see the super kick happen, and then just
right.
like you're just gonna count to 3, like no big deal.
Right.
It's
right.
right. I think that's weird too.
Right. It's always one of those like little things. Like again, I know it's wrestling, but like you're trying to do a spot with a ref down, and then the new ref is literally, oh, it's Jimmy Uso doing here.
Yeah. What you need to do is wait until after the super kick and then have the ref do the Charles Robinson run down the ramp after the guy's been pinned for 10 seconds. That's how you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But listen, they did a great job. Honestly, like the whole pay-per-view was very good. And this is also going to be one of my questions of just like when the crowd is hot like that, it truly boosts the show. Because there's instances where I think there's just certain towns that I'm sure there's like a list somewhere that someone made of like there's just certain towns where the crowd is just like usually dead. Like I can't think of where, but like there's like certain towns where you're like, all right, well, this is and like a dull crowd can drag a show down. And
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Like probably something like that. But like there's a reason why like AEW runs like a million shows in Chicago, because they know like that crowd is always very good.
Yeah.
Same with New York. You can add Montreal to the list, especially if you didn't think so, especially after Elimination Chamber, because they were on fire for everything.
Toronto's on fire usually.
Anything in the UK, honestly, overseas in general, but I think the UK.
Well, that's a special treat thing for them. I feel like
that's true too.
Yeah, it's like oh shit, WWE's in town. Of course, everybody's gonna go.
Like I think it's great. Like they're gonna do Money in the Bank in London, so I bet that crowd's gonna be hyped for that.
I will say,
a good show.
I am a fan of the fact, because I feel like they stopped doing this for a long time. I'm kind of a fan of the fact that they're bringing pay-per-views back to like overseas occasionally. Like they just did one in London. They're doing another one. I know Canada's not overseas, but it is a different country. So now to have one in Canada, it's just cool to see them doing pay-per-view or whatever you want to call them, premium live events. It's good to see them doing them in like different locations like that, because I also just think UK crowds are usually on fire, so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and I also just think like the timing of everything now doesn't have to be like so set in stone anymore. Thus, you've seen like the more Saturday pay-per-views, which big fan, always like
definitely.
Royal Rumble on Saturday, great.
Have all the pay-per-views been on Saturday for like the past year now? I feel like
not every. I mean, maybe
I'm pretty sure
more of them. Aside from like night 2 of Mania, I can't really think of a Sunday one. Honestly,
a
Sunday one that I've like gone out of my way to watch, because like I figured like that like the Clash of the Castle I know was a Saturday, because it was like Saturday afternoon. I was like watching
that was at like 2-3 o'clock,
right? But also like the timing of it, like people here, if it's 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on a Saturday, like they know people are still gonna watch. So like I don't think they limit themselves. Well, that's why I included it.
Right.
The Pacific time zone. But I think
I watch at my own leisure.
Well, right. Well, like there's
usually because I'm working when it's on anyway.
Right. But that's obviously part of it too, is like I think they realize like people will just watch it eventually. Like I knew like Elimination Chamber, I was like, I want to watch this live. I want to see what happens. And like, the Royal Rumble you always want to watch if you can. And Mania, of course. But then like the other ones, like if Money in the Bank, like what do I give a shit if it starts at 8 o'clock or 3 o'clock? Like if I'm not watching it till like midnight, like what is it? It doesn't matter. And I think they're kind of catching on to that, so they can go fuck it, do the big pay-per-view in London where it's going to start live at like 3 p.m. here or whatever the time difference. I think it's 5 hours.
Yeah.
So start it at 3 p.m. here, and it doesn't matter. Like, and then like they'll capitalize, because then they'll do like SmackDown there, like they did for Montreal. They did SmackDown, they had a hot crowd, and then they had the pay-per-view hot crowd again. It's going to be like that in London when they do it.
Yep.
Crowds just make a difference, man. And I think this subscription stuff and the streaming and like, because like if your traditional pay-per-view, you need people to buy the pay-per-view. Sure, people might not buy it at 3 p.m. They might be like, well, that's weird, I can't do it. Yeah. But who cares now? And I think they're finally embracing it after all this time.
Yep. I will say one thing I do want to see, and it's funny because it kind of goes against your hot crowds like kind of argument.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see them do another show in Japan.
Yes. I was going to say that.
And I know, and it's funny because like the Japanese crowd is exactly the opposite. They're usually very quiet and then they applaud after the spots. But I would love to see WWE in Japan again. I thought, like, the Beast from the East card. I remember
that.
Beast in the East or whatever they called it when Kofi lost the title in like 20 seconds.
No, but he didn't lose the title. He didn't have the title. But
no,
yes,
it was
Kofi got squashed in 6 seconds. Yeah,
it was like wasn't it the rematch because Kofi already lost the title?
This was way before that.
That was before Kofi Mania. Why did I feel like Kofi had the belt or something like that? I thought this is how he. Well, he
Kofi won the belt in 19. And I think this card was like a couple of years prior.
This was Finn Balor and Kevin Owens for the NXT title. That's how long ago that was.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I remember that now. All right. Well, either way, like I remember Kofi getting squashed, and unfortunately, Kofi getting squashed in big, high-profile high-profile matches seems to be a common thread that we have to pull here. But, I would like just to see that different crowd and that different style of audience that's watching wrestling, and like the different way that the guys have to work too, because you have to like put in those spots and give those breaks, which is like kind of against the WWE grain at times, I feel. So I think it would just be really cool to see another like high profile, like it's not even high profile, but like another premium live event, whatever you want to call it. They do another one from Japan. I would be very interested in.
Yes.
They're clearly more open to it now.
So I have a topic I've kind of wanted to address. And you bring up Kofi, so it fits. Why is it the last few years they somehow have a plan for WrestleMania and then just build someone else up on the side that
somebody gets
overtakes
shoehorned
it?
in?
Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Sami Zayn.
I think it just happens by accident. Like there's no other explanation for it other than shit happens by accident. Like
I think part of it is like the Royal Rumble. I can't think of the last time I couldn't predict a Royal Rumble winner, but actually then again, I didn't think Edge was going to win either, but anyway,
right.
I feel like most of those years they know who the Rumble winner is going to be and they're like, but no, we want this one.
Right. Because I think it just happens by accident.
I think it's WrestleMania season, people start putting a lot of their hopes in their favorites, and Sami Zayn, obviously the work that he's done this year, I feel like a lot of people feel like he's earned it, just like the way that a lot of people felt Daniel Bryan earned it when he had at WrestleMania 30 during that season. I think a lot of people just got behind him because they felt like this is the guy who deserves it, and we're going to put all of our energy behind him because he has the whole crowd in his pocket, and WWE kind of had their hand forced. I don't know if they're at that same level with Sami Zayn. I know obviously that Montreal crowd was hot for him because this is hometown, but and every crowd's hot for him, but I probably wouldn't put him in that same category as Daniel Bryan. That's not to say that I wouldn't like to see Sami Zayn in the main, like in the title picture at any point. I would love to see him in the title picture more. I just don't think that this is the titles. I just don't think this is the moment that they're looking for.
No.
Nope.
Well, this is why I was saying I'm happy that we ended up like just kind of taking a week off and talking about it now. There's like time to kind of let Elimination Chamber breathe, because I do think the first reaction was like he should have won. The crowd was so hot, they should have called an audible. It would have been an unreal moment.
They said the same thing in Cardiff.
That changes your entire WrestleMania, which you've literally built.
Cardiff, I don't know. Cardiff felt different to me because I feel like Drew McIntyre's like. I think the thought process with Sami Zayn is he's not going to get another shot at this. Whereas with Drew McIntyre, you're like, he's fully established. Like if they want to give him a title shot, he can get a title shot pretty much whenever. So I think that's the difference.
So I do want to say the year that Drew McIntyre won, that was a legit surprise to me. And honestly, by the time he came into the match and the way he eliminated Brock, I was kind of like, you know what? I want him to win. And then it's like, oh shit, he won.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was happy with the Drew McIntyre win too.
Yeah.
Like he's the only person, he's on the very short list of people I actually like. If Roman dropped the title to Drew McIntyre, I'd be okay with it. Mostly because Drew deserves a run with the audience, as we've talked about.
We have discussed this many times. We all agree on that for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I would love to see Drew with with the actual title run with the crowds and stuff. I think that,
and I
that'd
think
be-
it'll happen not too long after the
Cody gets
his
Bloodline
run?
story.
Yeah.
Cody's got to get his run first.
Yeah. And it's not to say, and like with the Sami Zayn stuff, it's not to say that he can't. Because listen, if he goes out, every night for the next few months, and he gets that same reaction, and it doesn't stop, their hand will kind of be forced to like do it again. The problem just becomes like if he's in a main event in Houston, Texas, for the title, is it going to be as well received as Montreal? I think that's
not as Montreal, but I think that's unrealistic though.
No, of course. But it's just
No,
one of
and
those.
for that, you just see if Austin could go again.
Well,
No,
maybe.
I think honestly, this might be a hot take, but not giving the belt to Sami now might be the best way to protect him right now. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is because what we don't want to see is like kind of like what you're describing. Sami get his big WrestleMania moment, he gets his big win, and then he gets a Liv Morgan type title run or a Rey Mysterio type title run where, fans kind of die off on it quickly. And if he can't keep that momentum going, then they're just going to say, well, we were right. We shouldn't have done this. We should have stuck to our guns, and now he'll never get another shot again.
If Sami Zayn you could do this for a year. If Sami Zayn if he goes through this whole calendar year, and it's crazy hot,
I think that's the right way to do it.
Could you have him win like Money in the Bank or something? Maybe that UK crowd will pop for it. I mean,
when is Money in the Bank? Like June, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because it's usually around my birthday, I think.
It's like June, July. I feel like they always like kind of
go back and forth or whatever. Yeah,
but maybe that's an option if the next few months he's like truly still big, or even if you play it through this whole calendar year, and then Royal Rumble comes around next year, you want to tell this almost like a Kofi-esque story with him this time around. You could. That's always an option. I also think they're clearly building to him and Owens against the Usos. If that should, it's probably not going to be the case. I bet they'll have like Charlotte. They're gonna have like Charlotte and Rhea Ripley or something like main event.
It's either going to be Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, or it's going to be the tag matches.
I was going to say, I feel like the tag match has to main event the first night.
I would love to see a tag match main event
to make it. Because if you truly want to make it that special, I think that has to be the main event. It can't just be like, I suppose it could open, but it can't just be like the third match on the card or something.
No,
I agree that that match either should main event night 1 or open night 2.
Agreed. And I think
I feel like those are the only two spots you could put that match.
And it's Chris Jericho that's told the story enough times with him and Kevin Owens feud, how it was meant to be a title picture, and then they flipped. And then he tells it all the time. He's like, they were the second match on WrestleMania, and it was just like, who cares? Yeah. Like, he tells that story all the time of like, and it's no secret. Like, clearly we you've done it, and we've watched enough to kind of know what the spots are. Like, when you're in a bring the crowd down match to, kind of save their energy. But
I had to take a moment to remember who had the title that year, and then I'm pretty sure it was fucking Goldberg. Yep.
Yeah, because he beat Kevin Owens.
And then they did that. What was it? That the Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah.
Which was like a 4-minute match was kind of fun, but fuck them for doing that.
It is a bit refreshing to not have like Goldberg or even Brock Lesnar involved in a WrestleMania title match yet.
This feels like the first year they're just letting the roster cook for the first time in a long time.
Oh, speaking of Brock at WrestleMania.
Oh, you want to talk about some awards? Who booked that? Who booked this shit?
Who booked this shit?
Who has Brock at WrestleMania?
Almost.
Who booked this shit?
Yeah, who booked this shit? Is it just so we could get the spot of Brock F5ing him?
Probably, but like, who booked? Now hold on. All right.
Do you want to go down the list of shit they could have done that any of it would be better? Because
before we do that, just to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I have felt the same way about a lot of big man Brock Lesnar matches. And there has been times, including guys like The Big Show, including Braun Strowman, where the match pleasantly surprised me.
Okay. My
I'm not
counterpoint.
saying I'm not saying almost is even on the Big Show's level. I'm just saying.
My counterpoint. With with those guys, with those big guys, yes. With the right partner, you can have a good old Haas fight or a good David and Goliath match. Absolutely. Almost is in the tier of Great Khali. You're fucked no matter what.
Giant Gonzalez, I'd put
Giant
him in.
Gonzalez. That's kind of like that tier there.
Like, and it's like no disrespect to him. Like, I mean, but like, I feel like he's been on Raw like a decent amount of time, no? And like, I'm just like, he did the tag team thing with
AJ
Styles, and it's just like, who? I don't know, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Where I was kind of hoping they'd go with Brock was give him Lashley again.
No,
Let
yeah,
Lashley and Brock have a
blow off.
WrestleMania to a blow off, because that last match was,
yeah.
you know, we still kind of got the dusty finish, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
the winner doesn't
absolutely.
really look like the winner.
Yeah,
So why not? Let's fucking do a big blow off at WrestleMania with those two. I think
that's
that
what I
those
thought
two,
they were doing.
And
I think they could 100% put on a fucking WrestleMania match.
And I
A
found it
great
weird.
WrestleMania match.
And I found it weird when Bray Wyatt came out and said, basically challenged the winner of that match. I was like, what?
But even
So
if
yeah,
you did,
now
like,
we have Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley now.
even if you did Brock Lesnar versus Gunther, come on.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I'll
That
fucking,
match has to happen.
I'd pay to see that.
I
for
thought
sure.
that match was going to happen.
Well, because they had the Rumble like stare down or whatever.
The spot at the Rumble, yep.
So I figured, ooh, all right. I'm like, and I think everyone was like, I'll fucking watch that.
I will absolutely fucking watch that.
So now, hold on. Here's a question regarding that. Are we reaching a point now where like they're doing these Rumble spots with Brock Lesnar to get these guys over and then not following up on them? Because remember Keith Lee a few years ago had that huge spot with Lesnar.
Yeah.
Where he took him down where Lesnar was cleaning house. He was just eliminating guys left and right. And then Keith Lee was the guy to slow his momentum. And then like 3 months later, he was on the shelf. And then like a year later, he was gone.
Yeah.
Keith Lee was the first guy to take Lesnar down in that match.
I think Roman put him over more.
Who? Keith Lee?
Yeah. Survivor Series?
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about who put over who more.
Okay, the
I'm
Brock
saying,
Lesnar.
What I'm saying is like, why didn't they follow up on that right after the Royal Rumble? Really, like, why didn't they go have like a good program going?
Because then Drew McIntyre came out and it was like, oh, this is the program.
I mean, not again. Happy for Drew McIntyre and all, but I think like we all were blown away by Keith Lee's performance in that year's Royal Rumble, and then we got left with fucking dog shit after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they wasted Keith Lee, and then I don't know what's up with Keith Lee lately. He hasn't been that great.
We can certainly get to that at some point, but man, I did want to bring up AEW at least a little bit because their pay-per-view is coming up. But
yeah, I'm so far behind on that. I haven't watched anything.
Oh,
I'm actually watching more WWE stuff than AEW stuff lately, which is funny because it used to be the total opposite.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, we can jump back and forth. I feel like this feels like the least anticipated, least hyped AEW pay-per-view that I think there's been. I don't like, and maybe it's my own preference. I don't like Iron Man matches, so the main event.
Not for those two.
No, I don't think
that
MJF
seems like a weird combo for a Iron Man match.
I would also argue that if you're AEW having 4 pay-per-views a year, an Iron Man match is probably better suited for Dynamite.
I mean, they basically have done it a couple times.
Exactly. Like, I feel like I'd rather throw that on to build up to a big Dynamite if you want to have an Iron Man match versus having one on a pay-per-view that limits the rest of your card. Because when you have 4 pay-per-views a year, you have a 60-minute Iron Man match. Knowing AEW, they're still going to try and cram fucking 10 plus matches on the show because that's what they do. But
actually, I mean, do like Iron Man matches. Usually.
I do like Iron Man matches too.
They're usually just overrated. It's something about the timing. and it's something about like I don't know what it is. It's because it's almost like I don't feel this way about basketball, but it's almost like the argument some people make about basketball, how it's like
nobody cares until the last 2 minutes.
Right. So I feel like maybe that's my mindset with that. Whereas like when you have a one fall match for an hour that you don't know is going to go an hour, there's just something about it that's a little better to me.
Yeah, but if you're watching it as like just entertainment value, I mean, like, yeah, don't watch it as a competition. Since when do we watch wrestling as a competition?
I don't fucking know. Apparently now.
Yeah, apparently like this
Apparently
is
right
it.
now.
Iron Man matches is where like
This is my
Mike's
line.
just like, fuck kayfabe, this is real, and I need to, and I don't have to deal with it anymore.
I mean, but it's like Skylar said, I'm not sure I agree with MJF and Bryan Danielson having a 60-minute Iron Man match. Not that they can't, or not that it won't be a good match.
It's funny. I haven't even been watching, and I still feel like that. I don't know. I feel different. I feel like those two having an Iron Man match should be fine. I think that'd be great. I think Daniel Bryan, I think, wants to be able to show up for 60 minutes, and I think MJF wants to prove he can go for 60 minutes. And
no, that's true.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
And it's not even just that for me. I just feel like there's not a lot. There's just the stories haven't really been there as far as like building a pay-per-view, and that's always their weakness. I feel like they don't do a good job. This might, as weird as this build is, this might be the best job they've done of building from pay-per-view to pay-per-view with the main event, because normally a lot of their shit is thrown together. Like they somehow come up with a build in like 3 weeks, even though they had 3 months. And then
the women's title match is a triple threat with Jamie Hayter, Ruby Soho, and Saraya. Explain that one.
Yeah, and Saraya's like a heel already.
And her and Tony Storm are basically the outsiders.
Even though even though Tony Storm willingly left WWE when she was in a decent spot. Yep. And listen, I don't like the tag title thing is weird. They're like, we're gonna give it to the Guns, but we don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's just a lot of weird, and like because this happened.
Everybody loves the Acclaim, though.
Apparently, not everybody.
Yeah. And that tag match is what the Acclaim, the Guns, and
Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Jeff Jarrett has
still happening.
A wild Slapnuts appears.
Jeff Jarrett has the most heat in AEW, and I think every AEW fan fucking hates it that he has like the most heat at this point. I think. Yeah. And it's like it's hysterical.
There's supposed to be a fourth team, but
they're gonna figure it out
on Wednesday.
I don't know. It just because even with a bad build, like I remember the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, the build was fucking awful. They had 1 million injuries and the build was awful, and it was still a good show. It's not that this show won't be good. The wrestling's good, but it's just missing something. Like I don't know, the buzz doesn't feel like it's there.
Je ne sais quoi.
Like it feels like the hype for AEW just isn't there lately. I don't know. It's like they're losing a little bit of steam.
They're more focused on building wrestling shows than they are on building stories. Which is what it sounds like is the major complaint.
It's actually funny because I was reading like literally earlier, like it was like a Joey Janela interview about it, and he was saying he was just talking about when like his time was winding down in AEW, he didn't want to resign, he wasn't really doing much, and he said stuff like Tony Khan books every Dynamite like it's a pay-per-view rather than a weekly TV show, and I'm like, that kind of makes sense a little bit, but and it's like, I feel like the Young Bucks use fucking the YouTube show versus to like build stories as opposed to like doing it on the actual TV show, which I've always thought was like a little weird. Like, oh, you need to watch this show to be in on the story. It's like, what?
Yeah, but is that, and again, just playing devil's advocate, I know nothing about the situation.
Yeah,
but is that the Bucks' fault, or is that Tony's fault for not doing the good enough story writing, and the Bucks being like, "Hey, let's find a way to fill in the gaps for at least"?
Oh no, I can agree with
B.
Right, I can agree with your take too.
Yeah,
but it's just I don't know, and like the Elite versus the House of Black, I feel like could have had such an awesome story, and it just kind of feels like it's there.
Yeah,
like I don't know, it's just because I know they were. I don't know, and I also. Like I like the trios titles, but I'm like kind of want Kenny Omega to just be a singles wrestler, and the Bucks to just be like just the tag team again, right?
Yeah,
I feel like I've been missing that the past few months, a while now. Really, you figure since All Out, like they were gone after all that bullshit. And then when they came, and then when they came back, it's just been all the trio stuff.
Let me ask you a question.
I gotta step away from it. I gotta take a leak. I can't hold it anymore. I'm sorry, guys.
Weak bladder.
A weak bladder.
Hey, can you somehow like can you bring your mic and headphones in? Just
so you can listen?
Can you bring everything into the bathroom so you can just hear the stream?
Yeah, well, it's important. If it wasn't all wired, I would do it. But
you should have just worn a Depends like that astronaut lady did when she drove across the country. That would have solved this problem.
Fuck all that. I'll be right back.
The lady had to stop for gas, but couldn't be bothered to just go to the bathroom.
See, I figured maybe he would have taken the Dumb and Dumber approach.
Oh yeah,
just fill up like a tire 6-pack.
Yeah, you guys been drinking a couple of. Has been throwing a couple back.
Got to be honest, kind of low on my Jim Carrey list.
Well, what's above it? Truman Show.
Oh yeah.
Liar Liar.
Well, my favorite movie of all time is Eternal Sunshine.
Oh, duh. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Ace Ventura is up there.
That's true. Both of them? Or just the good one?
I enjoyed both of them.
Okay.
For different reasons. No matter how unrealistic the whole NFL aspect of the first one was.
Well, I mean, of course. Well, you don't think Dan Marino could have actually had that happen?
I don't know. Do you think Dan Marino could have actually made what happened in Ace Ventura happen?
I think Dan Marino sucks.
Well, you're a Jets fan, so of course.
Right.
I hate Dan Marino.
Yeah. Anyway. Something I
think that lady was a man, though, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah. Finkel is Ihorn.
That's a movie that probably wouldn't fly as well today if it came out this year.
I still like both those movies.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying.
So
I'm just saying there would be articles written about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
And it's just like I thought about basketball recently. I feel like you'd have to like take half those jokes out.
Yeah. I heard your sister made out with Squeak.
Dude, I was having a whole conversation about Mel Brooks movies last night.
Apparently, History of the World Part 2
we're getting History of the World Part 2 with like every.
I want Spaceballs 2. Fuck History of the World. Give me Spaceballs 2.
The only reason he won't do Spaceballs 2 is
the search for more money.
He refuses to do it without
Rick Moranis. I know. Rick, do one more movie. God, I know you want to be there for your kids. Your kids are all grown up now. Do one more goddamn Spaceballs movie for us, okay?
Yeah, and then there was a rumor that they were going to do Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2.
That's also a good plan.
That's a good, yeah. I do
take this shit up into ludicrous speed and let's get it moving. Come on.
Exactly. Also, my favorite Mel Brooks movie is Blazing Saddles, and that would. I mean, if you tried to make Blazing Saddles today, somebody's gonna watch
Dave
that
Chappelle's
movie.
in that.
Somebody's gonna watch Blazing Saddles. I don't know. If you try to make that movie today, somebody's gonna look at that movie and say, "Hey, that's Blazing Saddles."
Is that what they're gonna say?
I love that movie. Anyway, so something I kind of wanted to bring up back to wrestling with Brawl Out
wrestling?
and the Bucks and Kenny, and so CM Punk is still under contract.
Yep.
Does
Listen.
it feel at this point that they probably hashed it out, and when he's healthy, they have to. They're gonna make.
They have to, because listen. I feel like there's been next to no there's been next to no buzz. I feel like if you bring back CM Punk and you do a whole thing, everyone's going to talk about it. It happened. Listen, this happened the first time, and it'll happen again. regardless of, how people feel about Punk. Listen, I know I said my fucking piece when we were first talking about this last year. Time goes on, and what the fuck do I care if I don't I don't, as a fucking fan, I don't have to fucking share a locker room regardless of how people feel. I know Seth Rollins said his piece about it when he was asked about CM Punk, and then he kind of walked it back. So it's like,
but you can't walk back those comments once you make them like that. That's your real feelings when you answer a question like that,
right?
Well,
no, and I can agree.
You can't just be like, all right, I didn't really mean it. It's like, yeah, you fucking did.
Well, that's the thing. It's just like I was sitting there thinking, it's like, dude, Punk kind of helped make you, and then he even acknowledged, Punk kind of got my career in WWE off the ground.
Right. And at this point, like if we're not doing, what, Punk and FTR against the Elite, like what are we doing then?
Yeah. And Punk and Kenny.
And speaking of guys, like FTR is, I don't understand them just like not being around. Like, I don't know if they're gonna like show up. Like, I know they're doing that casino battle royal shit with the tag teams. Maybe they'll show up in that. But it's kind of one of those like what are we doing?
Supposedly they asked to like not be on TV for right now.
I get it. But,
I don't know.
Like, but prior to that, if all they were doing was
that like, I can't explain.
I felt like all they were doing was the Ring of Honor stuff with the Briscoes, which was obviously incredible.
Rest in peace, Jay.
Yeah. And it's like, it feels like since that, like if they want to request to be off, cool. But there were months and months and months prior to that. They really were not involved in any AEW stories. They had all those belts. They had all the belts and stuff.
Yeah. Then they finally got their AEW title shot, and they just kind of swept it under the rug.
Yeah. So hopefully they're building to that, because that's the most logical thing they can do for a double. I don't know if it's double or nothing, or if they have to wait and literally do it at All Out a year later, run it back. I don't know, man. I hope they're doing that, because I don't know. They're like, again, I'm not doubting that the pay-per-view won't have good matches, but just overall, like I'm kind of getting whatever about it. And it was like, and we were kind of discussing like watching them, if you don't have cable, is insanely difficult if you don't want to go the illegal route. Like they got to figure something out, because people want to talk about fucking ratings every week. I don't think ratings shouldn't fucking matter anymore, because I think nobody fucking watches this shit live. And like if you stream, people will fucking see it the next day. Like they got to figure something out sooner than later. I don't know when the TV deal's up, but like the fact that
even Fight Club like still exists now, and they're gonna have the shows.
No, it does. Well, like, right. Well, like that's your other option, but it's, if you're here, you have to have a VPN, connect to the UK, and then you can pay $5 a month for like the AEW pass on Fight. And then you can watch the shows. But if you're someone that doesn't know how to do that or doesn't want to do that, you're screwed if you don't have some kind of cable. But like, I know,
looks like I'm gonna have to start purchasing a VPN.
I mean, it is useful.
Honestly, the VPN in general is useful.
It is useful.
I know.
Random VPN company, sponsor us.
Yeah, right. They're usually pretty cheap. I think I just renewed my VPN. It was like 60 something bucks for 2 years.
Yeah, something like that.
And considering the AEW pay-per-views, when I do buy them, cost me 20 on Fight versus 50 on Bleacher Report, it ends up paying for itself, even if that's the only thing I do with it.
Yeah. Fair.
But for someone that doesn't want to do that, you guys got to figure that shit out. It's fucking 2023. You got to have something where it's like streaming the next day or some kind of simulcast or something. Because
don't you have a deal with fucking Discovery Time Warner?
It's
like,
fucking it's
it's
like staring them in the face, and it's probably some HBO Max tax bullshit that they won't do it or something, because that's how they've been since. That's why they pulled the movies that were finished, because of tax reasons. So
anyway,
probably all that bullshit. But listen, their pay-per-view is Sunday. I think it's on Sunday. Sometimes they flip-flop, but I think it's Sunday night. But it's there. Like I said, I'm sure it'll be good. I'll probably end up like watching it, maybe. But the hype's just not there for me. I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of, the hype's died. Like they're clearly past that honeymoon phase of, well, everything is awesome. They're new. They're past that. I think
everything is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let me bring up, how do you feel? How into WrestleMania are you right now, outside of Cody Roman and the tag title, the probable tag title match?
I mean, I don't want to say like I'm hyped for Mania because it's still like, a month away, and I'm not sure how the rest of the card is looking, but I know as they start building it, like I'll get pretty excited for it because like last year's Mania, both nights I thought were awesome, and I feel like the potential is there for them to do it again if they're going to do. Well, they're probably going to set up John Cena, Austin Theory, because John Cena is like going to be on Raw, like at some point in the future, like not this week, but I guess next Monday because they're in Boston or whatever.
Yeah, I want to say next Monday.
So I wonder if they'll set that up. I've heard like Drew McIntyre and Gunther might be a thing, which I'd be all for.
I heard triple threat: Sheamus, Gunther, and Drew.
Oh my god, they're gonna. Oh my god, they're gonna beat the fuck out
Match
of
of the
each
year.
other.
Match of the year.
No,
but they're definitely doing at a minimum.
Big
Drew
meaty men slapping some meat. That's what that's gonna be. Big meaty men slapping meat.
But I don't know. I think it's just like, it's not that I need like I like. I don't know. But I think as far as like just what's announced, I'll go back to, I know besides what's announced, I'm going to be into the story, like with Cody and Roman, whether it's Cody doing promos with Paul Heyman for another month. Sure, sign me up.
Right.
And the tag match stuff is clearly a slow build. Although they could they still throw a curveball in there? Because I feel like Jey Uso's still not fully.
I want to know how.
Like, I'm curious.
That's one of the most intriguing parts of this story, Jey Uso.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
yeah,
that, like I feel like if
that
any
could still go different variety of ways.
If anything else, like that could be your like curveball. Like, I'm not saying they don't do the tag match, but I'm curious what they're going to do with Jey Uso mostly because he's still not fully. Even though Sami accidentally hit him in the chamber, like they haven't done anything with that yet. So I'm curious where they go.
Agreed.
But it's Mania, like, and I think AEW does kind of lack that. But I mean, what does? Like, no, you can't just name a show. Like WrestleMania just kind of happened organically. They did it once, and it just turned into like their biggest show. They didn't go, no, this is WrestleMania, and this is the biggest show. I feel like I don't know if any other wrestling company can just state this is our big show. Like I know Impact tried it forever with like
Slammiversary.
No, they forced it like that. Bound for Glory. They always forced it. That should be their big show. And I always felt weird because Slammiversary was like right there. Yeah. I was like, no, like this is your anniversary show. You can call this your big show. I feel like AEW, I guess it should be All Out based on All In being like their first pay-per-view.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you lack
only have 4 a year though, it's kind of hard to make one the big one.
Should AEW add, like, would they benefit from like adding like 2 pay-per-views and making it 6? Because I do feel
I think they should have one every other month. I think that's the way to do it. And then you build, then you have 8 weeks of fucking TV to build for those shows.
Because
technically it would be 7.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Because then you could also
no.
You have like a little fallout and shit too, whatever. You could still use 6 weeks to dedicating just for storylines, and that way you still have like your go home and your week after where you're doing recap shit basically or sweeping up. Like you still have all that time to continue building stories. It would kind of force your hand into having to build those stories. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
I do have a big concern as like saying AEW adding more pay-per-views. One, apparently you could count number 5 as Forbidden Door because looks like it's going to be a pretty regular thing. Sure. 2, Ring of Honor, in quotations, had their first set of tapings today. So now you got to take into effect there's going to be a bunch of Ring of Honor pay-per-views. And without spoiling anything, I read the spoilers for the tapings and I was like, the lot of this just still seems like AEW.
Well, but if they can, that's why they need to separate the shit. They need to not have the Ring of Honor stuff on AEW anymore. If they truly want it to be its own thing, then they have to separate. Because I don't want to count I don't count like the ROH pay-per-view from over the summer or ROH from the Final Battle pay-per-view or whatever. Like I don't count that as part as like AEW's calendar. Like there's AEW people on it, yes, but they need to separate it. And your Ring of Honor, like you can always move people back and forth. You can always do that, but you have to have your own dedicated shit, right? If Ring of Honor's gonna have that pay-per-view Mania weekend, the Ring of Honor's got to build to that. Like AEW, sure, you can mention it, you own it. Hey, we got this thing, but that doesn't count for AEW. AEW has Revolution coming up, and then they don't have a pay-per-view until Double or Nothing. So that's like just about 3 months. It's Memorial Day, so that's just about 3 months. And again, are they going to run into the same problem of we're going to have a shit build we're going to have just random TV for 2 months, and then we'll figure it out in the last month? That's my big problem with them. And they do it almost every pay-per-view cycle. Shit gets thrown together in the last like 3-4 weeks when they've had 3 months. The stories lack, and then you just there's a pay-per-view coming up. And I think like that's why, like, if they added pay-per-views, and sure, it's a big ask. You're now asking people to pay, hey, you want to watch all our shit for the year, you got to pay an extra, $100 or whatever, assuming. So like, I know that's a tough ask. It's, not, I mean, they did it back in the day and when everyone was buying pay-per-views once a month. So I guess you could try it again now, but I do think the storytelling would benefit from having less time between pay-per-views, because then, and you could like feature more shit. I don't know. I don't know what the ultimate solution is, but I don't know. It's my feeling on it lately. I just feel like a lot of stuff is lacking for me. Like, I know the wrestling's good, but I've said it before, like, great matches are becoming such like a dime a dozen type of thing that I need to care about what I'm watching.
Right.
If not, if not, the match just like exists, and it's something where I'm like, I guess I'll go back and watch, and I rarely do, honestly. Like, I don't know. Don't know how to fix it. I don't know. But clearly, and clearly it's not like some hot take. I feel like a lot of people feel this way, and I don't know. I feel like they got to tweak something or fix something, because clearly, I think the ticket sales seem to be suffering a bit, as well as like the ratings a little bit, and whatever else.
Yeah.
Oh no,
it's all valid points, man. All valid points. I wish I had more I can chime in personally, but like I said, I haven't been watching the product, and part of that is because of the cable issues we discussed earlier. I used to stream it from the cable apps, the TBS and the TNT apps.
Yep.
Right. Unfortunately, you need to be a cable service provider in order to do so, which I am not. I don't have cable.
You're just CJ.
I'm just CJ. So, I used to be able to use an account to get in and watch them, but I no longer have access to it now, basically. And so now I've just been kind of like, oh, I guess I'm not watching AEW.
Right. But that's the thing. You have to subscribe to like YouTube TV or Sling or something, some kind of cable that has those channels, or else you're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm paying for like way too much shit already as it is. So until I start either like winning some poker tournaments or find a better job, I really can't be taking on more payments right now.
Right.
Agreed. I hear you. Well, either way, AEW, figure it out.
I'm just looking at I'm just looking at the raw results, and it definitely confirmed a few more things for WrestleMania.
I'll have to watch the 90-minute version on Hulu, which I will suggest forever. That as long as it exists, that is the way to watch Monday Night Raw.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna have to actually start paying attention to the weekly shows. It is WrestleMania season.
Yeah,
because usually I just get like all my shit through like YouTube clips.
Yeah, well, that's how I've been doing AEW lately.
Yeah, same. I kind of feel like this would be a good thing to kind of circle back around and wrap up with. Just kind of reviewing the WrestleMania card so far and some of the things that are likely to happen. So
if Shawn Michaels comes out with his gear on, I will start crying.
That's facts. I've
Mike
seen
can
it.
Back that up.
I've seen it. Yeah, this will be.
He's got his gear on, Mike.
So
yeah, this will be we'll do this and we'll wrap the show up. Let's see. You lead the way. What do you got? If you got it in front of you, tell me what you got.
Well, so do you want me to address some of the rumored matches first? The ones that like seemed like it's just a matter of getting announced.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, why not?
Okay, yeah, one you gotta wait for you gotta go watch Raw.
That
Brock. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk about that one. Brock Lesnar and Almost. We talked about that. It's probably just a reason to have an impressive F5.
who's booking this shit?
Who's booking this shit? Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley.
Sure.
It started in a very Bray Wyatt way. Like there was like a weird kind of creepy funhouse type deal, and Uncle Howdy apparently everyone thinks is Eric Young, which I can believe. He is supposed to be back in the company.
I'm curious.
It just seems like a weird feud for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a big spot for sure. I'm curious what the match will be, if it'll just be a normal match or if they'll throw some
Mountain Dew pitch black.
That
match.
needs to be where we get the fucking payoff for the Wyatt 6, if that really is a thing.
Well, if it's got to be at Mania, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm looking forward to, is just really seeing more what the plan is for Wyatt going forward and how they're gonna do this match with Lashley, especially because Lashley's been on a roll. Wyatt he's wrestled one match so far, right?
Yep.
And Lashley's, he's been a top guy for the past couple years now. He had a title run. He's obviously looked really strong in his matches. So I'm sure they're not going to want to kill that. So I'm kind of interested to see how they go. Like, you don't want to kill Bray's steam too early now in his second match in, but at the same time, you don't want to kill what you have with Bobby Lashley either. So they're going to have to find a way where what I would imagine would be for Bray to go over, but in a way where Bobby can still stay strong. Yeah. And I think because of that, that's probably why we will get the introduction of the Wyatt 6, or at least part of it.
Yeah. And it's probably going to involve Alexa Bliss. Anyway.
True.
Let's see. We got Bianca Belair versus the murder clown Asuka.
Yes, please.
I'm just psyched about the Asuka basically being Kana again.
Asuka should win. Why not?
Yeah, I think so.
Has Bianca been champ for a year? Did she win last Mania?
She won at the last Mania against Becky. Yeah.
Oh shit! So then, she's been champ for a year. Yeah, why not give Asuka another run?
Yeah, I think Asuka deserves. Asuka looks like
fantastic. Oh, I mean, I know she didn't win the Royal Rumble, but this would almost be sort of my argument, because is she going out there and just like destroying people at this point?
She's kind of, sort of.
Okay, I didn't know if they were going full on.
Should,
like
again,
monster ass kicker.
They should, because
like NXT
Kana.
Asuka.
Right, because I didn't know, like, are they going to build her up as this ass kicker for Bianca to like overcome it or something? But I don't know. Hopefully Asuka wins, just for a change. Nothing against Bianca Belair. I've kind of come around on her in the last year for sure.
I've said since the beginning, I actually do like Bianca, but I would like to see another Asuka run. I think Asuka, especially the work she's doing now, I think is the best work she's done since her NXT run, where she was that monster. So
yeah,
why not
agreed.
give it to her?
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair part 2.
I think Rhea Ripley takes it this time, because she lost the last time. I think Rhea takes it. She's on. Speaking of people being on a roll,
yeah, I think Rhea needs to win this one for sure.
And you knew eventually they had to have a woman go from wire to wire, and Rhea was a perfectly good choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
especially after that run she had at the Rumble, you have to. I think it's just her time.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed, and she should get that win back from Charlotte.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think she should have beat Charlotte the first time personally, because I think she was on a roll then too.
Agreed.
And I think it was a good time for Charlotte to like not necessarily take a back seat, but like let Rhea ride that momentum she had. And I'm not blaming Charlotte. I'm blaming the booking. It sounds like I'm blaming Charlotte, but what I'm saying is basically I think they kind of missed the boat the first time, so I think they got to give it to her this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Fantastic Andrade shout out on SmackDown by Charlotte, by the way.
They did she? Figure out what the hell they're doing with him.
What was it? She's talking to like Dominic, of course, talking to Dominic Mysterio. She's like, I have a real, Latino man at home that calls me mommy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Speaking of Dom, are they gonna do Ray and Dominic yet?
yeah.
Is that gonna be Mania? I didn't know if they were gonna
Yes.
keep going with that.
They wanted to save it for Mania.
Okay.
Which I think would be great. I think
it's gonna be the first father-son match.
I don't know how
really?
many.
Yep.
Is it really?
Yep.
You would have thought there would have been one along though. Vince and Shane. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Active wrestlers.
Vince and Shane. Come on.
Yeah. If they're in the No Mercy roster, they're active.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Gerald Briscoe, baby. Pat Patterson. Let's go.
Fair enough. That's a good point.
But that is surprising that there hasn't been another one. Like I mean, I guess I can't really think of it.
I mean, Ted DiBiase was definitely too old.
Yeah.
You
Cowboy Bob Orton.
You could have had You could have had the American Dream Dusty Rhodes.
That's true. You could have
a little baby Dustin, or maybe a little baby Cody.
They had a tag team match together.
Yeah, they did.
Never against each other though.
Yeah.
What about I just had one too, and I forgot because you brought up the Dusty one.
A match happening at Mania, or
not a Mania, but like I think there was like a father something. I can't remember. Anything ever between like Rick and Reed in like the WCW days, or
no?
No,
nah.
Not that I can think of. That would have been the only other logical one, I suppose.
Yeah. What else is on? What other matches have been announced? I mentioned Cena against Austin Theory. Cena, I think, could build this feud, one, just by being John Cena these days, and two, he has a United States
LOL,
title story.
Yeah.
LOL, Cena wins. Cena's gonna beat Austin Theory at WrestleMania. I'm calling it now. Hot take of the year. Cena wins. LOL, Cena wins.
No, I
just for the memes alone.
Yep.
The greatest storyline that WrestleMania could potentially have is in the build when John Cena returns next week. They talk about they challenge each other to a match, but then Austin Theory proceeds to kick the ever-living shit out of John Cena and just totally brutalizes him. And then we wait a few weeks and John Cena comes back and says, obviously John Cena is not ready to face Austin Theory, but I know a guy, and his name, puts on the helmet, is Peacemaker.
There it is.
Just do the Mick Foley.
Do the whole Mick Foley gimmick.
Yep.
Cactus Jack, Triple H shaking in his boots.
Pandemic WrestleMania with the movies could have given us John Cena versus Pacemaker. Just saying. I don't know why. I don't know why they
Pacemaker.
I don't know why they'd fight each other, but they'd figure it out. I'm just saying.
Cena versus Pacemaker.
I say Pacemaker.
It's
also
fuck your heart.
Why the hell haven't we gotten Peacemaker show up in the fucking Royal Rumble? Come on.
It's. I feel like
it seems like a very niche thing that you really want really badly.
Yes, it is.
Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. I'm just saying.
I didn't watch the show yet, but are they doing another season of it?
That's a very good question.
Like I knew it came out a while back.
I haven't watched it yet either.
But maybe if they do another season down the road, then your chance will come again. Or another Suicide Squad movie if he's obviously he didn't die in the fucking movie. What am I fucking stupid?
What are you fucking stupid?
Wait, he die in the movie?
No, I'm saying I just asked myself, did he? I'm like, no, of course not.
Yeah, the show.
There's a show, exactly.
The show literally picks up.
I know that, but it's one of those. I'm like, if they do another Suicide Squad movie.
I mean,
listen, I'm trying to hype you up to get your Rumble.
Listen, I want another James Gunn Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, it was very good.
That movie was great. That was probably my favorite movie that year.
I'm in the minority where I didn't hate the first one. So
I didn't hate the first one either.
First one's
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it.
Hated it.
Nah. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fun. I knew it was bad, and I was fine with what it was.
Right. Wasn't a fan.
Okay. Just to wrap that one up, Cena passes the torch to Theory. Anyway, that or Pat McAfee.
LOL, Cena wins.
That or he wins because Pat McAfee will come out and just kick Theory in the nuts.
He could appear at Mania.
I really hope Pat McAfee is at Mania.
I mean, well, I wouldn't expect him back full time ever. Not for a long time.
The way he addressed it after the Rumble, he was kind of like, I doubt he'll.
Because his wife's pregnant. He's gonna do all the football stuff. He's not gonna recommit to traveling every week for SmackDown.
But I think he'll still do like regular enough appearances where it's like, you still know he's involved. But anyway, Cena passes his torch to Theory. The other match that I just realized that is going to happen, Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Oh, yeah.
That could be a banger.
It will be.
It will be a banger.
How about Jake Paul losing his first boxing match?
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, well.
But it also goes to show you, he actually fought a real boxer who has a bigger reach than him and isn't just a 50-year-old retired MMA guy.
I will say I didn't watch the fight. I think I have it saved on YouTube. If they didn't take it down yet, they might have. But
wasn't a very good fight.
From what I've read from it, Jake Paul did score the only knockdown, but I guess he was. Hold on. I'm not defending him. I'm saying he scored the only knockdown from what I read, but then he was also like outpunched like 3-1 basically.
It was, and I like when I saw it, I thought Tommy Fury slipped more so. Although the judges were weird. Like and Jake Paul lost the point at one point because when they were together, he hit Fury in the back of the head. So the ref took a point. But it was weird, the judge's discrepancy of like one judge had it for Paul like 75-74 and the other two were 76-73. I know that shit happens all the time in like UFC and stuff, but I'm always just like how what is one judge watching sometimes, but
that the other one's not. Yeah. No,
right,
it happens all the time. Split
no, I know. I know,
weird.
but it's always funny to me how I'm like, what the fuck were you looking at then?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But yeah, no, Seth Rollins and like as soon as like it looked like that match was gonna happen, I was like, I mean, yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Good. I think it'll be damn good.
It'll be good.
Yes, I will feel sports entertained by the end of it.
Thoroughly sports entertained.
Thoroughly.
Speaking of which, is Johnny Knoxville coming back?
I was just thinking that. Can we get another Jackass match? And who would be in that spot this time?
I don't know because Sammy's in a bigger spot now. I know. Somebody else.
Who
Santino Marella. Bring Santino back.
Oh man, he would deliver.
LA
spot
Knight
if he asked them.
Yeah, but I don't want to turn LA Knight into a goof.
I know. Who could be that LA Knight to have a match? I think he will
have a match too, but not at the expense of making him a goof. Because I think he's too good to be a goof.
Who could you put in the Jackass spot that would deliver?
Ooh.
Akira Tozawa? No.
Nah.
Nah.
I mean, yeah, but no.
Butch. Just Butch, just go in there chasing around all angry and just running.
I forgot he's still Butch.
Pete
yeah.
Yeah. There's somebody that should be doing more.
Fair.
He's been in some big spots. I mean, yeah, he could do more.
But he wasn't the focus.
I got one. And it's funny because like this is not going to be probably a well-liked point, but I think he'd be able to pull it off and do it off well. Baron Corbin.
You know what? You're probably right.
Yeah, I could see it. And he would probably end up losing the match, so even better.
Oh yeah, 100%. He loses the match and he looks like an ass, but he's the one that can afford it because it's kind of in his character a little bit, and he'll still like keep his steam.
Mm-hmm.
And two, he say what you want about the dude. From everything I've ever read about the guy, I heard he's professional as fuck. And if you ask him like, hey, we need you to do this and we need you to make it look good, he's good for that. And people hate on him and people shit on him and think that he's boring or whatever like that. But him, I'm not saying that he's on that level at all. I'm just saying that, there's a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about.
Yep.
And they have like bad opinions on guys because the internet told them to. And I think Baron Corbin's one of those guys. Just like I thought Cody was one of those guys in AEW. I felt the same way about Cody as I do about Baron Corbin. I think he gets a bad rap.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know who wins that match. Probably Seth.
Yeah.
The tag title match.
I mean, it feels obvious, but
that's when
I feel like here's the thing though. I feel like it's so obvious that it would be a great time to pull a swerve if they really wanted to.
That's
Yeah,
what I
you
was
know what that
thinking.
swerve is going to be?
The Usos win, Jay stays with his brother, and then and not that the bloodline retains, but like the bloodline's still intact at least until Roman's match.
Oh, I was going to
I
say
think that's the swerve.
I thought I was going to say Jay walks out, but okay.
No, I think that's what people are expecting.
By the way,
this has been the most unpredictable. Like, that's why when I said like this bloodline story has been so good, it's because there isn't this like full on predictability with it. Like, there's still questions about like each the character, like, and like what's Solo Sikoa doing all this. Like, yeah, obviously you have the Jey Uso part. You have like like. I feel like people are going to put the doubt in, you know, like you're going to have there. I think Cody wins. Like, I guess I'll transition to the main event. Like, I do think Cody wins, but there's going to be that little bit of a, but what if they want Roman? What if they want Roman to hit the 1,000 days or so, just for the sake of take all the stories out, just for the sake of him hitting the 1,000-day mark as champ or something?
It would be 1,000 days by SummerSlam, right?
Yes. Because he's going to be like close to 1,000, not close to 1,000, but like he was at 900 at the chamber. So he'll be at like 940 by Mania, give or take.
I'm going to say it now. He loses it. If he doesn't lose it at Mania,
right.
SummerSlam is.
No, agreed. But I just more from a standpoint of like there's that. I don't think it's 100% guaranteed that Cody just walks in and takes it. I think he does ultimately, but there's going to be that little bit of doubt this time.
I mean, I also
regardless of where the story goes, you know, I have no idea what's next, but
I also want him to win so we get the Winged Eagle back.
That's true too. I would take that.
Also, something that the internet is buying way too much on, and they're going to get their hopes up, and they're going to get.
He got the white Intercontinental title back. Okay,
I'm telling you right now, I feel like that's going to be a big letdown for people who think that's going to happen.
I will say this. I think
I think this from me, CJ.
I'm not trying to take it from you. I'm trying to prepare you for the truth.
I'm only going to say is that
life sucks. Get used to it. I told that to a bunch of orphans one time. All right. I could tell it to you too. That's my favorite heel wrestling story. It's also like one of my most like, it's not like it's my favorite, but it's also my cringiest at the same time. Like I feel like I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's wrestling. Like, suspend their disbelief. Even if it's true.
I'm sure somebody said that in Memphis in the 80s.
Yeah, I said it to a group of orphans at a wrestling show in New Jersey.
Yes. I'm aware this is based on a true story.
All right, just making sure.
Oh man, fuck! I forgot. I just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, sorry. I don't think you're getting your belt because I think they love that the belt is just the logo.
Yeah, I agree.
So whenever you do press, it's just a logo staring at you when the champ's doing press.
Yep.
So I think for that reason is why you won't, and that's why the belts are what they are.
Agreed. That's exactly what my same train of thought. I was like, they're not going to change it because it's branding. Everything comes down to branding.
Why do you think they send every fucking sports team a championship belt? Because someone has it. Someone has it at the parade. Like Pat Mahomes was wearing it the whole fucking Chiefs parade.
If fucking the Jaguars could just get over the hump.
Fuck the Jaguars.
They would have to give Tony Khan a fucking WWE championship.
Never know. They're getting closer.
But also fucking Jags.
They have to give Tony Khan's father a WWE championship.
That's also true. All right, they'll send it to Trevor Lawrence. There'll be no mention of
the Khan family at all.
The Khan family. Yeah, congrats to
the only Khan we know is Nick Khan. Fuck those other Khans.
Yes.
But anything else? Did we miss anything with Mania as we wrap up this honestly fun podcast? We're just ranting about everything tonight.
We'll watch Raw and we'll have more.
Yeah, next week we can. I feel like listen, as we get into we're about a month away from Mania, we'll be talking more and more about this as the time passes. Because why the fuck not? We've said it to you for weeks now. It's Mania season, baby. This is where the current stuff takes the front row here. Wow, none of that makes sense.
Yeah, we still got our rants in about like video games and everything on AEW and everything else too. So
no, you're right.
It's just what we do.
Of course.
This is true. Yes. Well, this is partly why I'm hoping the snow's bad enough where I'm just going to look outside and say, fuck it. Because then I can hopefully play a bunch of just pop in all the games tomorrow and
I'd make a
It's-
joke about it snowing here, but it's done that 3 times since I moved here.
I was
So
gonna say that's fucked.
Yeah, we've established. Yeah, I'm looking out the window right now. It's definitely coming down still, and I mean, kids' school got canceled at like 7
Oh yeah.
o'clock.
Oh yeah, no, man. Lisa already told me. Like, oh, she told me like 5 o'clock. Like the prince.
oh,
her
Rocco
prince-
doesn't have to go to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's got the day off. Snow day for Rocco.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking goddamn. Yeah, no, they were waiting to close the schools. I don't think they use a snow day
Honestly,
around
I
here.
was like, it's 7. I figured this would have happened at least an hour or two ago.
Yeah, right.
I figured I would have picked Liam up, and they would just said, "Yeah, just don't bother coming tomorrow."
Is it snowing that bad out there?
It's supposed to. It looks pretty gnarly outside. Not
Yeah.
terrible, but like enough that like you should not be driving in it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like I have a
So-
winter storm warning till 1 p.m. Well, by the way, when this podcast comes out, all the snow is going to be gone
Yeah,
No. Well, maybe
again.
Yeah. Well, Friday night we're
Oh,
supposed
Friday.
to get Friday night we're supposed to get slammed.
All right, fine. So when this podcast comes out, it might snow again.
Yeah.
It might be new
bro,
snow.
Bro, it didn't snow for 3 months all winter. Like
Yeah.
now we're getting hit
And
with it. in
meanwhile, it snowed
March.
3 times since I moved here.
Yes.
This is ridiculous. Like,
This
what
is
did I
Sorry,
sign up
guys.
for?
Sorry, I did drive through some flurries on Saturday morning. If that makes you feel
Yeah.
better.
The
It
shit out
doesn't-
here doesn't,
doesn't.
like stick anyway. It's just
No,
it's just cold.
Saturday I worked until noon. I work in Dover. So I have to go up the hill on
Bendover.
Bendover on 22 on 343, and I made it up the hill fine. 2 SUVs absolutely did not.
Yep.
I don't know, man. People are wild. If you're in the Northeast and you can't
No.
drive in the snow, like I
You know-
don't understand anymore.
Get the hell out.
You know what? No, the craziest thing I saw today is so a family member of mine works for West Point,
Mhm.
and they were on their way, and there was already a huge accident with multiple cars in front of them, and they slowed down, skid, fortunately missed it, was bracing to get hit from behind. And then there's a 12-car accident.
Oof.
And his car's in the center, completely untouched.
Was that part of
That's
that big
amazing.
pile up I heard on 9W, as you were saying? right?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I did.
His
read
car
about
was in
that.
the middle of it, and his car was untouched.
18-car pileup. All I read was like all like minor injuries. Like no one got,
69
like-
car pile up in the
I'll-
roadside accident.
I'll send you the video after. Yeah, I'll send you the video I have. But,
Shout out to
no.
69 car pile up in the roadside accident.
God
Yep.
damn it!
God damn it.
Hey,
That
I just
should.
got to shout him out.
So
How
yeah,
many how many people get that reference?
7.
tell us in the comments.
Tell us in the comments if you get it.
I understood that reference.
Hi, Dennis. Anyway, you're a cunt. Anyway,
Mm,
There's something that hasn't
Um,
been said in quite a while.
yeah, I felt
true.
we got to bring it back.
run it back, yeah.
Run it back. But
Now
speaking
he's
of running
gotta
it
come-
back,
now he's got to come on and defend himself.
hopefully
Yeah,
he
we'll
does.
get there. We'll see.
Dennis?
Speaking of running it back, though, I think it's time we run it back to our butt plugs of the week.
Fuck yeah. Instagram at 6Man Tag Podcast, Twitter at 6Man Tag, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, you know the drill. 6Man Tag Podcast. If any of you fucks spell it with the word 6 instead of the
Any of you, So-
number 6,
God help me.
then you're so fucking wrong for that, by the way. Because it's the
What's
number
wrong?
6. It's the number 6.
Isn't that cute?
Okay?
But it's wrong.
6Man Tag Podcast. Thank you.
Very important.
Mm.
Anyway, follow it on all the platforms, of course. And while you're
Mm.
following that, do yourself a favor and check out the Paperweight Project on YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram. Hopefully soon to be Spotify and Apple Tunes, but we're not there yet. But anyway, check out the songs we got on the platforms I mentioned earlier. Also, I know I said it was going to be up and running kind of last week, but kind of been, obviously, as we took our week off from this, I was also taking a week off from other things, so I didn't really get around to it. But this Sunday, we'll be dropping episode 1 of the Paperweight Podcast. So this episode comes out Friday. Guess what? You only have to wait 2 more days until episode 1 of the Paperweight Podcast. So follow us on all the socials there, Twitter, Instagram, and that will be going on Spotify and Apple too as well. So check us out. It's just basically me and my buddy John shooting the shit, talking about what we're up to, some music and other things that we enjoy. But yeah, follow both those things. Follow the 6-man tag, and of course, follow Skylar. At where is the question?
Twitch, Strange AFC.
That's right.
I want Persona 3 to be over, for the love of God. I should have just played the PS3 version. I might stream Hogwarts Legacy. I'm kind of going back and forth on that. Also, the Sorting Hat said I should have been Slytherin, but fuck that. I'm a Ravenclaw.
I'm a Hufflebro.
You're a Hufflebro?
I'm a Hufflebro.
Also,
me and my brother are both Hufflebros, which makes a lot of sense.
I kind of want to live, stream this pedal board I've been putting together for my guitar.
Yeah.
You can stream whatever you want. Just shove a camera at it.
Yeah, I know, but I
was thinking about starting a Twitch for just like online poker, to be honest with you. I was thinking about doing that and just playing my online games on Twitch.
It's
There's
annoying.
A lot of people who do that.
Twitch cracked out on gambling streams, which is fucking stupid because there was so many of them. So a lot of people are using like Kick, I think, is one now. A lot of the gamblers, a lot, because the people that did slot machines on stake usually. A lot of the Twitter is cracking down on that, which is again weird because some of those people get so many viewers. Fucking Drake would do it live on Twitch. It's bro, what are you doing? But apparently Kick, if you want to do that, is the place for that.
Apparently, I don't think it's a problem so much on Twitch for poker because I see it all the time still. But maybe that's because it's a little different, I guess.
Yeah, true. Maybe because you could there's poker video games. I'm playing a video game.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, but for whatever reason, all the slot machine and blackjack people, they crack down on all that, which again just seems a little silly to me. But whatever, we can have hot tub streams and whatever other borderline porn, but God forbid.
Anyway, I've been wanting to kind of stream some guitar stuff. I've kind of totally redone.
Once again, if anyone has any links to any of the good ones for research, the DMs are open. Thank you.
Anyway.
And also I'll probably, I'm going to do The Last of Us, Craig. I just think at this point, I just want to finish this season.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to do it too, man, but I'm waiting to get the remake.
I have it. I have the remake.
I know you do. I don't, but I'm going to get there as well, and I'm going to play through it as well, so maybe we'll both start around the same time. Who knows?
Also, being a JRPG nut is dangerous because now I'm 55 hours into a game that I thought was only going to be maybe 60 at most.
That's fair.
But you love Final Fantasy VII. You know what it's like.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's why I said it's fair because I get it.
Yes.
Good luck. I could only wish you Godspeed there.
Yeah, Persona has become my Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to sprinkle some crack on it, and
I think that's it. Hey, good shit tonight. Good shit tonight.
Bueno.
Again, you follow the socials, follow everybody. Very excited for the Paperweight Podcast to come out. Much anticipated.
And you better listen.
It's gonna be fun.
You better listen. You'll have the socials for that at some point too.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
going to be on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. It's going to be at the Paperweight Podcast.
Okay. What are you hosting the podcast on, by the way? That the feed will get out. I'm just curious.
What do you mean?
Is it just on SoundCloud?
Excuse me. I'm doing it the same way we're doing this. I'm recording it through Zoom meetings, and I'll probably just put it on Pro Tools for the audio, and then
I should know where you're hosting the podcast to have it out, to have the feed on there on Apple and shit.
Oh yeah, I got to make all those the Apple and the Spotify and all those accounts.
They're easy enough. It's I was
going to talk to you about that anyway because I know you have a lot more experience with that stuff anyway. So I figured you can kind of guide me along with that. So
we'll stream that too.
But I'm at least gonna put up, like I said, I'm at least gonna put up the first one on YouTube, and I'll probably make a SoundCloud as well, and I'll throw stuff up on Twitter and Instagram, and then whenever I can get it on Spotify and Apple, I'll get it on those as well.
We'll get there. Hell yeah!
I'm still waiting for your SoundCloud hip hop album.
I'm not making a hip hop album, but I am making a concept pop punk album that I'm kind of excited about. So that's something that, I haven't announced this at all yet, and that's partly because like I'm waiting to release my first collection of stuff I was working on first. So I'm kind of like going backwards by even talking about this right now. But somewhere down the line, I'm gonna I'll obviously talk about it in longer length and what it actually is going to be, but there is going to be a like a pop punk concept album that I have ideas for. I already have a few songs for coming down the pipe eventually, but that's first
cool.
things first. First things first.
Of course.
Yeah.
Affairs of state must take precedent over affairs of state.
Yeah. So
yeah. Listen, good shit. Well, let's wrap this one up for Skylar, for Craig. This has been episode 51 of the 6-Man Tag Podcast. We'll see you later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.